Have you ever sat in a crowded room, watching everyone around you overshare every detail of their lives, and felt a quiet, comforting urge to just protect your own? We live in a loud world, a world that constantly whispers a dangerous lie, that if you aren't broadcasting your life, you are somehow falling behind, that if you aren't seen, you don't exist. But psychology paints a remarkably different picture. Quiet people aren't hiding, they are protecting. They understand a fundamental truth about human energy. The more you reveal to the wrong people, the more space you give for stress, comparison, and unnecessary interference. Today, we are going to explore 10 things quiet people will never tell you is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than 10 sacred spaces. You should start keeping private if you want more peace, clarity, and emotional control. And I promise you, the deeper we go down this list, the more you will realize just how much unnecessary weight you've been carrying. Let's step into the quiet. 1. Family issues. The first thing quiet people fiercely protect is their family. Family is, without a doubt, the most complex emotional system we will ever belong to. It is a messy, beautiful, and sometimes painful web of history and shared trauma. When you are hurting, it is so tempting to vent, to seek validation from the outside world. But quiet people know a psychological truth. Outsiders rarely understand the full context. When you expose a family conflict to the public, people only see fragments. They judge based on a single moment of emotion, not the decades of reality, is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than, and once those problems become public knowledge, they leave a stain. Long after you have forgiven your family member, the world will still hold them in contempt. You lose control over how your loved ones are perceived. Not every problem needs a public jury. Some things are meant to be healed behind closed doors, within the circle they belong to. Transition, and this deep understanding of boundaries doesn't just apply to where they came from. It applies just as strongly to the love they are building right now. 2. Happy relationships. We live in an era of relationship goals, where people feel the need to prove their happiness through a screen. But quiet people keep their romantic joys profoundly private. Why? Because they know that whatever is truly precious must be protected. There is a strange phenomenon in human psychology. When you over-publicize a happy relationship, you unknowingly invite external energies into it. You invite scrutiny. You invite comparison. You invite the quiet envy of others, and worse, the pressure to maintain a perfect image. When your love is kept private, it remains pure. It is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than, it doesn't need to perform for an audience. It exists only for the 2 people experiencing it. Keeping your relationship offline isn't about hiding your partner. It is about keeping the world out of your sanctuary. Transition, protecting the reality you have built is vital. But what about the reality you are still trying to create? 3. Fragile dreams. Number 3 is your fragile, early-stage dreams. When a dream is new, it is incredibly vulnerable. It is just a whisper of an idea, a tiny flame in the wind. Quiet people will never tell you what they are dreaming about until that dream has roots. Psychology warns us about the danger of sharing our nascent ideas. A single, carelessly placed comment from a skeptical friend, just one negative reaction when your confidence is still low, can cause you to abandon a path that might have changed your entire life. Not everyone has the vision to see the oak tree inside your acorn. Is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than. If you dig up your seed every single day to show people how it's growing, it will die. Let it grow in the dark. Transition, and this concept of letting things grow in the dark brings us to one of the most powerful habits of emotionally resilient people. 4. Your next big move. Quiet people will never announce their next big move. When your plans are still young, the opinions of others can dilute your motivation. But there is an even deeper psychological trap here. It's called social interference. When you announce your goals too early, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to move to a new city, your brain receives a premature dopamine hit. You get the reward of social validation before you have done any of the actual work. This creates a false sense of achievement, which drastically lowers your drive to actually execute the plan. Is less than hash 0. 5 hashes greater than. Furthermore, announcing your moves gives people time to doubt you or unconsciously root against you because your evolution threatens their comfort zone. Strong people operate differently. They act first and let the results make the noise. Transition. But while they are protective of their external ambitions, they are even more guarded about their internal pain. 5. Deepest vulnerabilities. It is a beautiful thing to be vulnerable. Healing requires openness. But quiet people know a harsh truth. Not everyone is emotionally mature enough to hold your pain. Your deepest wounds, your darkest traumas, and your most fragile insecurities should never be offered to just anyone. When you overshare your pain with the wrong people, it is rarely met with pure empathy. Sometimes, they use it to quietly look down on you. Sometimes, they use it to manipulate you. And very often, your sacred pain simply becomes their casual gossip. Your vulnerability is a privilege, not a right. Is less than hash 0. 5 hash is greater than. It is an emotional currency that should only be spent on those who have proven, over time, that they are a safe harbor. Transition. Just as emotional currency must be protected from exploitation, so too must your actual, material currency. 6. Your financial situation. Money is arguably one of the most psychologically triggering topics in human existence. Quiet people almost never discuss their exact financial reality. Whether you have abundance or whether you are struggling, revealing your financial status alters the lens through which people view you. It happens faster than you can blink. If you have a lot, you invite hidden envy, sudden expectations, and people who may try to use you. If you have too little, you invite unsolicited pity or quiet judgment. Financial privacy is not about secrecy. It is about preserving the authenticity of your relationships. Is less than hash 0. 5 hash is greater than. When people don't know what is in your bank account, they are forced to connect with the person in your heart. Transition. This desire for pure, unclouded judgment is exactly why quiet people disappear when they are working on themselves. 7. The transformation process. When you are in the process of healing, learning a new skill, building discipline, or fundamentally changing who you are in a state of delicate transition. This is your cocoon phase. And quiet people know that you must never open a cocoon before the butterfly is ready. During self-improvement, you will fail. You will stumble. You will have days where you revert to your old self. If you invite the world to watch your transformation, their gaze becomes a heavy burden. You start performing your healing instead of actually experiencing it. You feel rushed to show progress. Is less than hash 0. 5 hash is greater than. True growth requires the grace of privacy. You need the freedom to make mistakes where no one is watching, so you can build a foundation that is entirely your own. Transition, which is exactly why you will never hear a quiet person make grandiose claims about who they are about to become. 8. Your future identity. There is a profound difference between the person you are now and the person you are becoming. Many people rush to announce their future identity before they have earned it. They say, I am an entrepreneur, I am an artist, I am a completely healed person, before the actions align with the words. Psychology refers to this as identity foreclosure. When you announce a version of yourself too early, you place immense emotional pressure on your shoulders without the evidence to back it up. Quiet people understand that true identity is not spoken into existence. It is forged through silent, repetitive, daily action. Is less than hash 0. 5 hash is greater than. Don't announce who you are becoming. Just quietly do the work, day after day, until your transformation is so undeniable that you don't have to introduce yourself anymore. Transition. This deep emotional discipline also dictates how they handle the moments when things go wrong with others. 9. Personal conflicts. When someone hurts you, the immediate impulse is to tell the world, to gather an army of friends who will agree with you and validate your anger. But quiet people rarely broadcast their interpersonal conflicts. Why? Because the more people you invite into a conflict, the more impossible it becomes to solve. When you share your anger with an audience, emotions are artificially amplified. Information is distorted. Suddenly, you aren't just dealing with the original problem. You are carrying multiple versions of the story, tainted by the biases of everyone you told, is less than hash zero. 5 hash is greater than. Many relationships that could have been saved through one quiet, honest conversation have been utterly destroyed because there were too many spectators in the arena. Not every conflict needs an audience. Some fires are meant to be put out quietly. Transition. And finally, we arrive at the most profound and beautiful secret of the quiet soul. 10. Your good deeds. Doing good doesn't lose its impact when it goes unseen. In fact, it gains its soul. Quiet people will never tell you about the people they helped, the money they gave, or the sacrifices they made. They understand a crucial psychological boundary, doing good for the sake of your values versus doing good for the sake of validation. When you constantly announce your kindness, your brain receives a reward hit from public recognition. Slowly, over time, the deeper, purer intention begins to rot. You start building an image rather than building a character. Is less than hash zero. 5 hash is greater than. True kindness is an incredibly intimate exchange between you and the universe. When you keep your good deeds private, they become an anchor for your self-worth. You know who you are in the dark, and that is a kind of unshakable confidence that no amount of public applause could ever buy. Keeping things private does not mean you are hiding your life. It means you are curating it. It means you finally realize that your energy is finite and your peace is priceless. Not everyone deserves access to every chapter of your story. It's is less than hash zero. 5 hash is greater than. There are parts of your life that are meant to be lived quietly, nurtured gently, until they are strong enough to stand on their own. If you found a piece of yourself in this video, or if you are ready to reclaim your quiet strength, leave a gentle dot in the comments below. It tells me you are here, and it tells me you are protecting your peace. Thank you for spending your time in this quiet corner of the internet. Subscribe to Soul Men Space for more journeys into the mind. Until next time, may your mind be calm and your heart be completely, unapologetically yours.